This is the My Amazon Guy podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Pope, founder of the agency My Amazon Guy. Tune in each week to learn how to grow your Amazon sales. Today, we're doing an Amazon journey with Ola Gambari, co-owner of $1 million empire fresher products with brands Hungry Fan, Arctic Chill, Grill Hogs, and more. Today, we talked to Ola about his journey on Amazon, what went right, what went wrong, and how he built his seven-figure business. Ola, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. So if $1 million business is an empire, where's left to go from here?
Multi-million-dollar empire. There you go.
Fair enough.
Well, cool. Ola, I'm, just for my listeners' sake, you and I go back 3 years now. We've been doing business together. So, Ola, you're a client of My Amazon Guy. How's that been treating you?
Well, I was a client back when you really were My Amazon Guy.
Just one guy.
Just one guy, just you. And I've had the pleasure and privilege of watching your business grow. And it's incredible to me that you've managed to maintain your growth and still nothing has deteriorated. In fact, it's only gotten better. So my time with MAG has been tremendous. I feel like you guys are just an extension of my team.
Great endorsement. And that one's going on the website.
Don't forget where to mail the check to.
So, Ola, I understand you're somewhat of a Nigerian Prince royalty.
That would be correct, yes. But I would also caveat that there happen to be a lot of us. You may have gotten a few emails from my cousins.
So those things are legit, huh?
I can't speak for that. Maybe. Could I give my bank account information at the end of this?
There we go. All right, perfect. All right. So joking aside, we're going to talk about your Amazon journey today, and I'm super excited. I've been in the weeds with your journey, and I've seen the ups and downs, and it's my biggest takeaway is that Amazon is just passive income. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. Passive, like just letting the stream take you rather than having to swim against it. But you're not going to end up where you want to if you treat Amazon like it's passive.
Yeah, it's been a really reoccurring theme I've been doing in my content is racking against how Amazon is definitely not passive income, and a lot of people are getting into the business and realizing the sophistication it requires to sell on Amazon, and that sophistication has gone up. So, but before we go into how you've dealt with that sophistication, let's talk about your brand. So, tell me about Fresher Products that you co-own and all of the brand portfolio.
Sure. So we have a broad portfolio of 4 different brands. 3 of them are complementary. We have Grill Hogs, which is a grill tools and accessories platform. There's Arctic Chill, which is a cocktailing ice cube mold business. And then we have New York Baking, because I happen to be from New York, and we make great bagels. And New York Baking is bakeware. We have a separate business that isn't complementary, but we still love the product. It's called Thermomorph, and they are moldable plastic pellets. And the thing I love about Thermomorph, even though it doesn't complement the rest of them, is it complements the side of me. It's very much a product used by folks in DIY, cosplay communities. And that's cool to me. I'm a tinkerer in a lot of ways, and it's a product even I play with.
I think some of the most successful Amazon sellers I've met are not marketers. They're product experts. And you as the tinkerer / wannabe inventor, it allows you to create higher quality products. So I know you're always constantly on our weekly calls talking about product differentiation and how to beat the competition. So what are you doing these days to beat the competition?
Really? The simplest thing, which is of course a very challenging thing, is getting manufacturing out of China. And not entirely, but at least just not 100%. And the reason for that is I think there's a couple different ways to run an Amazon business, but 2 pretty basic ones that I've seen people do. There's the product agnostic, don't really care what they're selling. They just go on Alibaba and want to get whatever is labeled hot Amazon product that hasn't been saturated yet. And then there's the other approach of actually trying to build a brand where you're selling a suite of complementary products and You want to make an impression on people so they actually remember what they've bought. I hear this stat all the time that the vast majority of people can't remember the last brand they bought something from on Amazon. And to me, that's a huge missed opportunity, because I believe that Amazon as a marketplace will consolidate like so many other places. If you go to a supermarket, there's only so much retail space. And so you're all competing for it. And I think similarly on Amazon, if you're not one of the top 10 to 15 listings, don't bother. So what are we doing? Better product. That there's no competitor discipline, so it's often a race to the bottom on price. So how do you win in that game? You can't, unless you're the biggest volume buyer, but eventually you'll all just be making 5% margins, and that's not sustainable. So what do? You build a better product, and you appeal to those people who want quality over price.
So let's talk about your molds. Tell me what you're trying to do with some of your molding.
So we have some stuff in stealth mode, as much as you can believe silicone ice cube molds can be stealth developed. But what we've done is little things like increasing the thickness of the silicone, making minor changes to our formulation. You'll often see complaints that there are specks, white film that is sometimes left in the ice cube molds that are all black ones, which are very standard Alibaba product. Adding fill lines to everything. It's such a simple concept that if you're going to get a circular ice cube mold, you should tell somebody how much water to put in that thing so they get a perfect sphere. Failure to do that is why you see all the complaints. And I just want to caveat the last thing I'll say on that is, what I love about Amazon as a marketplace is the customer tells you what they don't like. All you have to do is read reviews and the questions, and people are telling you exactly what you can do to fix the products that exist. So we just listen to that and we marry it with our own experience and intuition, and that's what we do to build better products.
Well, I think it takes a product tinkerer engineer to understand how to find a better product. So let's talk the early part of your journey. How did your empire start?
Well, this is the part where I say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And yeah, in our case, it was a single step. You start with that one SKU based out of China. And in my case, we had a complementary business called Hungry Fan, and that's really focused on the game day entertaining community. So we talk to people about tailgating, doing it at home, and how to effectively entertain. And so part of that business was saying that we wanted to provide people with what we thought were quality products to make their lives a bit simpler. And that's how Fresher Products got started. And we were pretty typical. They were branded products. We had a trademark. So that was one of the few things we wanted to be able to have. You tell me all these terms technically. There's the brand registry. I think that's the one I'm looking for. And then they were white private label products out of China, straight off Alibaba, like most other people get their start.
And of course, as time goes on, that strategy is working less and less for the reasons you talked about already, race to the bottom. And so I think you and I are aligned with our internal prediction, made in the USA is the future of Amazon. But not everybody's bought into that yet. And who knows if the customers are willing to fork over the additional dough to buy those higher quality products. I think they will. What do you think?
Personally, I think they will. For me, the biggest impediment to USA manufacturing hasn't been price. It's been finding people.
The manufacturers?
I've been utterly shocked that there's just nobody out there for basic things.
I think manufacturing in the States has done a really good job B2B, business to business, but B2C, business to consumer, it's almost unheard of.
Yeah, and I'm a consumer in this case because the volume is low. Even though we sell 100,000 plus units of stuff a year, it's not of a single SKU. And so it's really hard to justify the startup costs for most of these things. And that's a big part of the production headaches is that tooling. Just having a new mold built for one of our tools might cost us $7,000 to $10,000.
That's a big investment for a new product, especially if you launch 3 and one's going to fail, one's going to break even, and one succeeds. You know, hard to put up that 21 grand knowing you're only going to reorder one of them.
And I didn't even tell you the other part is the minimums. That the way factories generally work is you put on, I guess it's a die or the mold, you fix it to the machine, but they have to run enough volume to justify doing that because it takes them several hours to get the machine ready. So if you're not producing several thousand units in that day, or at least it's taking up a certain number of hours of the machine's time, they won't do it. And so you're also faced with that. You can't try that small batch run just to test and then see if it works. So there are a lot of impending problems or challenges to overcome to do it.
So speaking of problems, talk to me about some of the biggest problem situations that could be a mistake, could have been a hand you were dealt. What was in your way to succeed that you had to overcome?
So I'll tell you the biggest mistake was not realizing the importance of keyword management and taking incumbency for granted. We had just assumed on certain SKUs, because we'd been around for so long and we had built defensible positions. Well, we assumed they were defensible. We didn't do enough of our own keyword maintenance. So that would have been more PPC-based efforts, just trying to use our community to find our products using the different keyword methodologies. And so that was the biggest one. We lost a rank on one of our big SKUs. Hand I was dealt, we were, as we talked about, trying a new product that we had just found on Alibaba. And these were, I think I'm allowed to talk about this now. If not, we're going to have to scrub this. They were Cedar grill scrapers. If no one knows what those are, they are effectively, it's a board of metal made out of cedar wood with a handle. And when you scrape it on the grill grates, the cedar eventually takes the shape of the grill grate. And people like them because sometimes the steel bristled cleaners can leave bristles, and obviously nobody wants to eat one of those. So people liked these cedar products. They also smell nice when you're using them. Can you believe somebody has a patent on a board of wood?
That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently I had to go down this rabbit hole. There's different stuff called utility patent versus design patent. These guys happen to have both. And the utility patent literally is the idea of taking a board of wood and scraping it on a grill is enough of a novel idea that they were able to patent it.
I don't work in the patent office, but I do think that is a little over the top because,
Yep.
Man, it's not like you are a pharmaceutical company and you found the cure to cancer. You didn't spend millions invested in this. You just had an idea and wrote it on paper.
Not even my idea, but that's the whole point. And we did have that guy just wrote an idea on paper,
sure.
And maybe chopped down a tree.
Yeah, and so you walked away from this product because of the implications.
Well, if we didn't walk away, we got a letter. We actually got a letter telling us that we were infringing on this person's patent, and that if we did not cease and desist, they were going to go ahead and sue us. It was a relatively new product for us, and we had, I think, several hundred units, above 500 in inventory, but we had no choice but to cease retailing and to destroy. We weren't even allowed to use them for promotional purposes. You can't derive any value once you've been alerted that you may be infringing. The only saving grace was that we were able to prove that we were doing it unknowingly, and this is the danger here. We bought this product directly off of Alibaba. You would assume that if they're selling that to you, that it's a kosher sale, but you can still get in trouble buying stuff from these factories in China. And this is a light example. God forbid we had bought something that got someone sick.
Yeah, I had another client that started a few months ago, and they were selling a really sophisticated 3D printing pen. And we got to market, we started launch, immediately took off. Not even a couple weeks in, they got their own letter because 3D printing pens are patented, and they closed the business. They didn't have a shape. And their Chinese manufacturer had claimed that they had an older patent, and they did have an old patent, but then they had to go back and forth, and it got messy from there. So yeah, I would say, to my listeners, word of caution on intellectual property. It is increasingly more and more important, and people that are selling in China, manufacturers and retailers both included, are trying to put food on the table, and they don't care about your patent issues. They don't even care about your reorder most of the time. They just want your money now, and you got to be cautious and invest accordingly. So yeah, that's a pretty bad hand to be dealt.
Yep, it certainly was. It was not a good letter to get in the mail.
All right, so let's talk about things that went right. So obviously high quality products, that went well. And that's a good problem to have. What else went right? Team building, people, process, systems, you name it, whatever.
Well, flattery aside, hiring Mag went right. Um, I also have a great team for inventory management. That's obviously one of the biggest headaches of any Amazon seller. We were fortunate to have seen a slight sales lift in these COVID times, and the times are very unfortunate. But for us, I guess it's because a lot more people were staying home, and so I was glad that my team had put processes in place so we were able to continue serving people. So I'm proud of the inventory because I know that's a big headache for people.
I think I saw the news report that Amazon was up 43% in May. And I've been telling everybody that I think Q4, specifically Black Friday to Christmas Eve, is going to be up 100%. And I think Amazon's going to run out of inventory space, all that good stuff. So buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, well, we could have a whole conversation just on that alone. The previous thing I didn't address was how much Amazon is part of what goes right and what goes wrong. But in
Yeah.
terms of other stuff that's gone right, is that we've tried to take advantage of a lot of Amazon things when they become new, and we get beta opportunities. And so we, as you know, we're always very proactive about that. Amazon posts, we got up there quickly. Video advertising is another thing we've launched quickly.
That was one I wanted to bring up. I feel like you have some of the best videos created in 2020 out of anybody's I've seen. And one, to steal a little bit of your thunder on this, one of your products was a grill spatula, and we shot the video. And then as a team, we watched it for the first time. And then on camera, the actor, the talent, if you will, starts using the product in a peculiar way, a way we didn't see coming. You know what I'm talking about?
You're going to have to go all in on this one.
So he starts using the spatula to open a beer. And we're like, what? This thing has a beer bottle opener? We've been selling your product for 2 years. We didn't know this. And nobody on the team did. You didn't. Anybody who had seen the product, nobody had seen this and understood that.
Oh, hey, that's not fair. I had seen it. I just didn't want to promote it.
Okay. All right. The story is changing. But in any case, I didn't know. And I was just like, whoa, this is really cool. We should talk about the feature. And, it wasn't any of the copy and whatever. But in a video, man, somebody could just open up a beer for 2 seconds and that thing's going to sell itself.
Yeah, everyone knows the motion, right? You're grilling, you're flipping with the spatula, you realize your beer's out, and then there it is. Don't even have to put the spatula down.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I wouldn't have discovered that without the video shoot. But yeah, you guys created some really, really good video content, and video ads have been a phenomenal launch for fresher products on Amazon. I think it's the hottest ad type right now on Amazon. In June, I thought display ads were the hottest, and in July and August, it's been video ads.
I could see that trend continuing. What I want to say about the Amazon environment is that they're giving us a lot of different tools to speak to our potential customer. And it's really about understanding your customer and your product, so then you can take the best combination of these tools to then address their needs and pain points. For us, video is great because it allows us to show why our tools are better, how they make experiences easier. If you were somebody who was more focused on selling variety for a single item, and quality wasn't the biggest thing, no disparaging remarks to apparel sellers, for instance, but if I just had a t-shirt, maybe I want a display ad so I can show the 5 different colors of my t-shirt up there. And there isn't a lot more information needed than that. I don't need a video. So I think what's important for sellers to understand is not to just jump on the latest hot trend on Amazon, because eventually it'll get saturated like everything else. Run your own race, figure out what works for your product and your audience.
I think that's great wisdom and advice, because if you don't focus on your own race and you always compare, you will eventually get nothing done. So focusing
and spend a lot of money doing nothing.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, cool. So where are you going from here? What are you investing in next?
For us, it's a lot of portfolio building. We're just continuing to fill out our portfolio as much as we can so we can offer more comprehensive solutions to people. We're improving our packaging, looking at any way that we can make a better brand impression on somebody. Because notice I use my words very carefully. I said brand impression because that's what we're building. We want every product you touch from us to evoke something in your mind. And so that's the other thing we're investing in. Obviously, a lot more of that content that you've seen and that we all love. And I think those are our three biggest pillars. The obvious one, of course, is just more PPC as needed. Going into the holiday season, you need to stay visible.
Fastest way to grow sales on Amazon: more product, more ads, more marketplaces. No doubt about it. So you're not just an Amazon business, and we're more and more we're seeing the need for diversification. So walk me through what you're focused on with the website.
Sure. So our primary website, like I said, is hungryfan.com. And our motto is that we can make anybody a game day entertaining MVP. And so what we are doing, and for any of you tech people listening, I don't mean minimum viable product. I mean most valuable player. And I truly hope most of the people on this podcast knew that already. But our goal is to just help people entertain at home easily and more effectively. As an avid home entertainer myself and just sitting around watching football, when I had friends over, part of it was I just didn't feel like dominoes, and part of it was I wanted to impress people. So I'd like to whip up a little extra, right? And you kind of realize after you start getting into this, like, this is hard. There's a lot that goes into this. And so we saw an opportunity to take the things that we're passionate about, but are also pain points, and try and educate people on how to do that. And so the next changes to the website, there's going to be a user experience overhaul dropping on August 24th. And in addition, there's a lot of great new content in our pipeline that we'll be introducing as well. And you brought up something interesting, is that what we're doing is building a narrative around our products. You can sell on quality, plenty of brands do it, but we believe that it's not just that makes us different. We want to also tell a story, and we want you to be part of the community that we're building. And so we hope the website, among all our other assets like social, email, everything you have to have these days to be a basic digital publication, we hope they'll accomplish that.
Last Amazon question for you. What do you think is going to change next? What do you think is going to happen on Amazon people need to focus on?
This is an interesting one. I think perhaps the next big change is that Amazon is going to throttle back on some of the things that, and Jeff, I'm not taking an opinion here. I think Amazon will throttle back on some of the things that are being viewed as anti-competitive.
They are kind of a monopoly right now. Half the economy monopoly.
I am not, as an Amazon seller, I'm towing the line very carefully here. Yeah.
Oh, I own my entire business to Amazon. There's no question about it. That doesn't mean I can't criticize the hand that feeds me.
Well, that hand may just slap you. So no, seriously though, you see it all the time, right? You have a product, and then Amazon Basics is now advertising on your page for less. Are they paying for that PPC? Of course they're not.
No, they're not. And,
of course they're not.
And they killed the battery industry. I mean, look at they had Amazon Basic battery, and it took 45% of the battery market just overnight. Yeah. Freaking insane.
And again, I'm reticent to have this part of the conversation, but just honestly, I've bought Amazon batteries. I have, like most other people, and they taught me a lesson. In truth, they weren't as high quality as a Duracell or Energizer. I'm not being paid by these guys to say it. It's just the truth. And something else we have to be aware of as consumers, not business people, is that you're making a decision with your dollar. And if your decision is that you want to buy from a copycat company, then don't be surprised when product quality goes down. Energizer is priced the way it is because they also do R&D. They're building better stuff every year. I don't necessarily see Amazon doing that. When they make Me Too product, it really is Me Too. It's just cheaper. The exception being their trail mix. It's delicious. Amazon's trail mix really is good.
What do they put in it?
Oh man, I think what I really like about one of them, the sweet one, is it's got like mini Reese's Pieces in there. It's freaking incredible.
Wow, you're gonna make me hungry here. Well, okay, cool. So last question for you, Ola. What are you doing to keep sane during COVID other than eat trail mix?
Discovering a lot of great new TV shows. For my exercise sanity, I actually got one of those under desk ellipticals, also from Amazon. Just trying to.
We do have a client called Fit Desk. I'll give them a plug.
It may have been them.
They have great under desk ellipticals.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn that COVID-19 into a Corona light. So hopefully, that works.
Maybe I'll send this podcast to Kent and say, hey, you need to come on my podcast next. So, and talk about your success and challenges. Well, cool. Ola, it was great talking with you and having you on our podcast today. If somebody
Thanks for having me.
To reach out or buy your products, where can they go?
You can go to hungryfan.com. And if you got questions, you just want to ask me about what it was like to be an Amazon owner as an entrepreneur, I think it's important to pay it forward. So that's ola@hungryfan.com. Send me an email. I will respond.
Well, very cool. I'm sure you'll get a few takers on that. That's the My Amazon Guy podcast today. We hope you subscribe and tell 3 other people about the My Amazon Guy podcast so that we can spread the word on how to make selling on Amazon easier as we talk to experts and talk to those sellers that have been on these journeys before. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. This was the My Amazon Guy podcast with Stephen Pope. Each episode helps you grow your sales on Amazon through ideas on traffic and conversion rate improvements. Hit that subscribe button right now to tune in each week. And if you need more help, go to myamazonguy.com.